started dancing disco right after I quit the ballroom dancing, which I started when I was 8 years old. And it was just developing in Russia, and we were invited to come to the World Championship as a Team Russia, just as a beginner in disco. And I really loved the atmosphere, the dancers. I saw those finals and like, wow, I want to be there. So that's just how I sticked into it. Just quite simple. And she has a more romantic story about this.
I was 14 years old and I had first love. He lived in Saint Petersburg, and it was only the one way how I could to go there. I don't want to dance in, but it was only one way. And my sister was dancing disco, and she said, "Okay, if you want, you can go with us." And I started dancing, and now I'm here.
I just picked her on the dance floor, came up to her trainer and had a deal with him. She wasn't involved. She wasn't shocked. I'm like, why I'm not involved in those conversations? And I just came up to her and said, well, we'll see you in a week on the training. She was like, and she didn't like me in the beginning.
Yes,
so
that's true.
That changed. Our biggest and main achievement as a duo was winning the European Championship and becoming the Vice World Champions. Yeah, I think that was the greatest.
Yes.
And in solos we made many finals.
Many years.
Yeah. I think that we were not specifically try to look different, but try to stand out. I think basically everyone's different. Everyone got a character, and it's important just to stick with it and trying just to be yourself, your own. And I think that's what we had. We had a little bit rock and roll in our style, so that's when good with the leather and bikes and all that stuff.
In the world, their coaches is not like in gymnastic, but sometimes we have to be tough and
a little bit tougher because that's maybe in Russian mentality.
Yeah.
We would love to have bigger Russian disco dance community, but it's just harder because just by itself Russia is a big country, so it's harder to develop a popular dance sport because it's locations and transportation and traveling. So it's a little bit easier to develop it in big cities like Moscow and Saint Petersburg, but then when we go to the smaller cities, it's harder for them to travel even to Moscow, so we can't bring a lot of dancers to Europe to show them what it's like, and because this helps to develop, taking part in those competitions helps to grow.
Difficult to judge yourself.
But one of the reasons we think we got good results is because we also are good friends, and it's important to have that chemistry and be a team in a duo, not just some strangers.
More difficult.
I think once you become a trainer, you understand how much harder it is just to stand aside and watch, and then you think how much harder it is for parents to sit all day, get so nervous, and I think it's even more tiring than dance all day.
Найти себя, найти свой стиль и верить в это, верить в себя и в то, что вы делаете.
Мой главный совет – это получать удовольствие независимо от результатов, потому что, несмотря на всю серьезность, это все-таки танцы.